What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Week 6 edition for your Sunday Night Football show here on Rotogrinders. I am Britt Devine. If my voice is sounding a little raspy, if my eyes are looking a little dark, it was my 40th birthday party yesterday, so I had a great time at that. But I'm here with Keith. Dude, there's still plenty of money to be won. I see a couple people at Rotogrinders, Jordan, Blender HD specifically. Looks like he's in contention to maybe win the slant. Jordan, dude, put that in the millionaire maker. You could be having the $1 million sweat, but if that holds for you in the slant, congratulations. That's a really big tournament and a nice takedown there. But, dude, there's always money more to be won. We've got a doubleheader tomorrow night, too, for Monday Night Football. And, I like having Monday Night Football and Tuesday Night Football. I think it's fun. A lot more stuff to play out here.
Yeah, awesome lineup from Jordan. Hope he holds in that one. It was a rough main slate for me, so hoping to make a little bit back here on Sunday night.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun. I got some premium stuff we'll go over. I'll sneak it in for you guys. I know this is a free show, but I'll give you access to a couple of the premium stuff. And if you ever do want to, check out Rotogrinders Premium, we are running a special on the show. I'll put it in the YouTube chat for everybody. It's rotogrinders.com/media/SNF. If you are a new subscriber to Rotogrinders and you wanted to check it out, that code or that website will get you $5 off your first month subscription. So make sure to go check that out if you're interested in any of the cool premium stuff here at Rotogrinders. All right, Keith, let's, we've got DraftKings. I think I always like to talk them first a little bit because there's a little bit more strategy over there with the captain spot. You did the expert survey today. What's if you had to pick a singular game script for how this game's going to go, right? Because you have to sort of nail your game script and your lineup. You can get real weird and hit some random things sometimes, but your lineup should pretty much always tell a story in Showdown. What do you think's going to happen in this game? We got, a 50-51 total? Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo running out there horrible. We got that 49ers defense getting torched out here. What do you think is going to happen tonight?
Yeah, I like the Rams in this one. Like you said, the 49ers defense has not looked the same as it did last year. I think Goff can have success by spreading it around. So I like his main two options in the passing game. The Rams backfield is a complete mess, so that's going to be an interesting route to take there. The pricing makes it even more messy. It looks like it's been Henderson recently, but Akers is back from an injury. He got some decent run last week. They said they want to get him even more involved this week, and he's cheap, so I like him. On the 49ers side, they have two backs that get work, and then Garoppolo spreads the ball around too. So there's a bunch of different ways you can go on this slate.
My favorite thing to do, I like the Ram. I think the Rams could just legitimately just completely dominate this game from start to finish, specifically if that 49er defensive backfield, if that falls apart, this game's going to be over at halftime, I feel like. And if Jimmy Garoppolo is at 100% with Aaron Donald chasing you down, I think that's going to be some big trouble for him back there. So my game script, if I was going to make one, is like the Rams onslaught, and you can play one of the running backs. You could play Goff, Woods or Kupp and the captain, something like that. Run it back with a Debo or Kittle, get them in there, and a Hail Mary on some cheap guy. Something like that is what I'm looking at to be my preferred structure for this game. I think the Rams personally could just sort of run away with this one. So there's two different, I think, viewpoints on game script here. Maybe I think the contrarian thing is like the 49ers win the game going away. So based off what I read in the survey and, just a couple things I've read before around the industry, if you think the 49ers can win this game in sort of a blowout, the 49ers onslaught, that's like the contrarian game script motive, I think, of what, if you're looking to get a little different out there today. But you mentioned the running backfield for the Rams. So let's hash this out really quick. Then we'll talk some captain plays on DraftKings. We'll move over to FanDuel after that. We've got Darrell Henderson. I've got the blitz projections, right? I'm lucky enough. Hey, at Rotogrinders, I have access to this stuff. If you ever want to get it, it's a great projection system from Derek Hardy. But, we're looking at Darrell Henderson. He's got them all basically, I don't know, within like 3 fantasy points of each other. I think that's a reasonable, mean projection set for all of them here. But Henderson last week, 15 rushing attempts. He got there because he got in the end zone twice, right? You get in the end zone twice, you're going to have a good fantasy day. You mentioned Akers, right? He had 9 rushing attempts, 61 yards. Didn't get used in the passing game. I don't know. Maybe, call that fluky in his, when he comes back from injury and he's ready to go. Then you got Malcolm Brown, who I think is going to be like third fiddle by the time the season is over. But dude, anything, this entire backfield can change on a whim in game. If one guy is just crushing, right, he comes in and has a couple of big plays, I think they're going to ride the hot hand here. I think the highest, I don't even know if I'd really have a lot of Henderson exposure today. He's more expensive. I view them all as close to the same. I think Akers is the guy who could really bust out. The blitz likes Malcolm Brown a little bit more, but I think that's pretty much in flux there. How are you handling this running back position?
Yeah, Akers is my guy too, and that's strictly price based. And I agree with you that they could definitely go with the hot hand approach. Akers at 2K flat, he gets in the end zone and he's already paid off his price tag, most likely to be on the optimal lineup. Henderson, you need a little bit more because he's up there at 7.6. So I prefer Akers to Henderson, even though I think Henderson will probably start the game as the lead back and get the first opportunity to take over as the hot hand. But yeah. I'll sprinkle in Brown too because he's down there with Akers at 1.6.
Yeah, you had a rule right in the expert survey. There's these little rule things. What do you restrict? Let's talk about your rule here. Why would you not want to allow Akers and Malcolm Brown into the same lineup tonight?
Because I think you need whichever one scores, and the likelihood that both of them score is pretty minimal. Sure, Akers could run one in and then Brown could catch one late or something like that, but I really think that it's going to be a hot hand approach, and whoever's having the most success, they're kind of going to lean on, and he's going to probably end up with 50% of the workload in the other two split. So if Henderson runs a touchdown in early and then Akers gets hot and they ride him the rest of the game, I could see that happening. I don't see Akers and Brown kind of both getting there just because I think Henderson gets the first shot.
Yeah, I think eventually it'll still turn. Two of these guys are going to be the main, and I think the third is going to get phased out. The three-headed running backs, I generally just don't think work good. There's too many different running styles and communications between the offensive line and the quarterback and all that. So I'm hoping it works itself out. But I mean, Henderson's had good games. I think Akers, right, is a good rookie. We sort of like him. And then Malcolm Brown has flashed too. At some point, I think it changes. Maybe not. I think today we're probably going to see all three of them in there. Rotated pretty heavily. I'm with you. I like Akers. I would go with Brown too. I like your rule suggestion of not allowing Akers or Brown in the same lineup. And Henderson is the guy who's probably going to lead in touches. But you need this, the extra $5K here. It gets you a Kittle, it gets you a Debo. It's just really hard to not take that price discount there. All right, let's talk captain on DraftKings. I'm going to give you the lay of the land. Tell the people, what you're doing with all the lineups you got out there right now.
So I do like the Rams to win, and I'm interested in the backfield, but I think the way that they get ahead is through the air. So Kupp and Woods are my main two. I'll sprinkle in a little Higbee. Those are going to be my main three captains. I don't think because of the split in the backfield that you're going to see a Rams running back as captain. I'll sprinkle in a few 49ers pass catchers too, just a hedge kind of on my main build. But the majority of my builds are going to have a Rams pass catcher in the captain.
Yeah, I think you can. I think there's a lot of ways. If my thought process of the Rams sort of boat racing the 49ers, if that comes to fruition, you can have one. I think Kittle or Debo or Ayuk make reasonable captain plays. We saw that today, right? The Vikings, absolute garbage time. Everyone goes bananas because they're down so much, and that can happen here with a Kittle, with a Debo, with an Ayuk. So I don't mind putting those in. I agree. You have zero running back captain exposure on the Rams?
Correct.
I would agree with that too. I would let the field try to figure that out and waste a couple of lineups, in my opinion. So I would agree with you on that one. What about a guy like Mostert, who he's probably the single captain play? I like Kittle too, and then Debo, obviously, he lets you get a lot of good plays if you put him in captain, and Ayuk. It's those three guys. Those are the entire passing game along with Mostert. But where do you stand between Mostert and maybe Garoppolo or George Kittle on the San Francisco side in the captain spot?
I do have 5% Mostert in the captain because if the 49ers get ahead, it's going to be the Mostert show. They're just going to keep handing it off to him. The majority of my flex positions will then be used on the Rams passing game and possibly a secondary piece or like another 49ers piece like Kittle or Debo.
Yeah, we got like 200 people watching this on YouTube and on Rotogrinders right now. Probably even more with all the other things that are out there. Dude, get in the YouTube chat, right? If you have any questions for either me or Keith, we will try to get them throughout the show. I got my eye on it over here. These Sunday night shows are meant to be interactive. Let you get access to us. We can show you all the cool stuff on Rotogrinders Premium too. But yeah, dude, if you guys got questions, let us know and we will absolutely answer them for you. Your favorite San Francisco captain play?
It's Kittle. I know he's popular, but I think he's the most likely to get there in either game script. Just on volume alone, he's their guy. So Kittle is my highest exposure.
Can I get 40 fantasy points, or am I going to get 8 fantasy points out of Kittle today? Do you happen to know that?
I do not, but it's going to be one or the other.
Oh man, yeah, I do like. I like Kittle. I don't hate the Debo or Ayuk captain spots. Debo specifically, if you go to Gridiron IQ, you look up their snaps last week. Debo, right before he was hurt, he comes back, he plays 30%. Last week, a full-time player, right? And he was $200 last. This is the biggest price increase in Showdown history. Right? He goes from 200, and I think he's still a little underpriced in my opinion because he didn't really have a breakout game. But he's playing basically every snap, along with Ayuk and of course Kittle as well. So I like those guys. Bourne looks to be he's sort of your like dart throw, catches 3 receptions, one of them happens to find the end zone type of play. But I really like Debo. In the captain, Ayuk's pretty similar to him too, right? They're these, built receivers that can get yards after catch on the short throws that Jimmy Garoppolo likes to make that sort of feed the San Francisco offense. Either one of those guys is more than capable of taking a wide receiver screen 40 yards for a touchdown or creating monster plays on their own. I would sprinkle them in the captain. I would probably play Garoppolo in the flex if I'm playing one of those in the captain as well, but I do like those, and I think you can run those with the really high octane Ram stacks and fit a couple of those guys in as well. What else is there really to talk about in the captain spot here? Are you throwing any Hail Marys in the captain spot? Are you playing Goff? Are you playing Garoppolo? Like what are we doing with Garoppolo? Just looked absolutely horrible. Was not 100% last week. If he's not 100% this week, it's going to be, he's in big trouble.
Yeah, I don't have either in the captain, either of the quarterbacks. It's typically something I like to fade just because they're always expensive and they tend to be
popular.
Yep, exactly. They're just overowned, and on DraftKings especially, it's too easy for one of the big other weapons to pass them and score. So it's generally something I'll do is fade the quarterbacks and the captain.
All right. You guys have started interacting with the show. I like it. It makes for fun times. Robert Sterling, he wants to know, Cup or Woods for a captain spot tonight, and there's a couple other questions. Hey, which Rams receiver has the best matchup this week? Which way are you playing this out there? Woods just a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, Cup has received a little bit more volume, so he's the one I'm leaning on right now. He's had at least 7 targets each of the last 3 weeks. To Woods, looks like he's had 5 targets last week, then 7 and 6. So Cup gets just a little bit more opportunity. I like the short stuff over the middle that Cup runs. It's really close. So I'm not saying that either one is right, but I currently have more Cup.
Yeah, I like Cup. You can convince me. I think you should have pretty large amounts of both, in my opinion, sprinkled throughout. I think, can you play if you play Cup in the captain, are you playing Goff in all of those?
I am, yep.
If you play, someone also put this in chat too, so this is from Kevin from YouTube chat. If you roll Debo captain, you have to play Jimmy G because he does not want to play Jimmy G after what happened last week. Or if you roll one of these high octane receivers, Do you force the quarterback in? I think.
I typically do, yeah. So I have extremely high exposure to Goff and Garoppolo in the
Mm-hmm.
flex.
Yeah, I
Especially
think
not playing them
I
in
would
cap.
typically do that as well. I would agree with that strategy. A couple people want to know Kendrick Bourne, and then we've got Reynolds for the Rams here. So which of the craptacular wide, fourth or fifth wide, pass catching options would you be more apt to run tonight? We've got Bourne. He played about 67% of the snaps, 68.5 according to Gridiron IQ last week. If I go to the Rams, we saw Josh Reynolds. He was in on 70% of the snaps last week. Which one do you go with? I think I probably lean Reynolds. Reynolds is a little bit more expensive. They're basically priced appropriately. Do you have a particular lean?
I don't have much of
Oh,
either.
wait, Reynolds is cheaper.
Yeah, Reynolds is cheaper. I don't have a ton of either. I'd prefer my secondary plays to be running backs. I like McKinnon too
Mm-hmm.
on the 49ers. We've seen Bourne get there before, but they've added Ayuk since last year when Bourne was having some success.
Mm-hmm.
And their pass catching core is finally at full strength. So it's really between Kittle, Ayuk, and Samuel. It's really tough for Bourne to get there, and it's kind of the same on the Rams side. Reynolds is at least the fourth option, and if you include the running backs, he's even further down.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Reynolds being 2.6K fits into lineups a little bit easier. He's reasonably popular, but I would tend to not play probably more than one of those two in the same. Like the odds of both of them catching a touchdown tonight, I think are extremely, extremely slim.
Yep.
So I would limit it. These are basically like your one Hail Mary, third wide receiver option, type of plays. I wouldn't play more than one of those in a singular lineup.
I like that.
Six Twomp, he wants to know McKinnon and Bourne too risky. I don't know if that's in the same lineup, but we didn't really talk about McKinnon too much. Right, we got Mostert, and he's the clear lead back. But with Jeff Wilson out, there's going to be some doors opened up in the San Francisco secondary rushing attack here. And McKinnon has, he proved while Mostert was out that the dude can still ball out. He was very athletic. He's had a bunch of injuries. He's ready to go. Over under, I'm going to give 9 opportunities, targets plus rushes for Jerick McKinnon tonight.
I think that's a good line. It's right there. I'm playing a bunch of McKinnon, and I think it's going to be, and I'm playing him to get there through the air in a comeback situation. I'm going to say over 9.
Like 10.
Yep.
Yeah, he's really interesting, and I like it too. Right, in the Rams onslaught, right? I would 100% play McKinnon in that type of lineup without question.
Yeah, I'm expecting like 6 targets out of him. So it just depends. They didn't use him at all on the ground last week. So I'm not sure where his usage went last week, to be honest. I don't know if he got banged up or what. But
Wilson had a couple. They do some weird things back there. The loss of Wilson, I think, has really solidified McKinnon to get those, what I would consider the 8 to 10 opportunities tonight pretty easily.
Yep.
Are you playing him over Akers? If you got to choose between one of them, which one you got tonight? Who you got more of?
I have them about even. I have a ton of both of them. I have more McKinnon than I do Akers.
All right. Let's see. Who's this? Jonathan Maxwell. He wants to know love for kickers or defenses. No one is ultra high owned. It looks like out of all of them, we're projecting Sloman, the Rams kicker, to be basically the highest owned of all of them. Do you have a particular lean in any way? I think if I was going to play a defense, it would 100% be the Rams. The problem is they're 5,600. It's reasonably expensive. I do expect Aaron Donald's just so good. I'm always okay taking a defense when you have just an incredible pass rusher that can get 3 or 4 sacks himself and cause so much disruption, especially what still could be a non-100% Jimmy Garoppolo. So I would play the Rams defense for sure over the 49ers. And then the kickers, I don't know. kicker, I don't know. I'm not a kicker guy in showdowns too often.
I'm not either. There's just so much more upside from somebody like McKinnon, and there's three cheap running backs that all project to get at least some amount of volume tonight. So I'm going to take my chances that one of those three guys can outscore a kicker.
Yeah, that's exactly where I would stand tonight. I wouldn't mind. I would probably be underweight on both of them, but I would need 10 lineups probably before a singular kicker hit one of my showdown teams tonight. That's how I would personally play it. Philly wants to know, so we're going to go to FanDuel in just a minute, guys. We've been talking a lot on DraftKings. I don't know if anyone's out there looking for FanDuel stuff, but we'll go jump over there in just a second. What about the Rams tight ends? Because, last year we saw when Gerald Everett was out, Tyler Higbee was crushing souls at the end of the season. However, right now, Higbee's playing a ton of snaps, but, he's not running a ton of routes. He's blocking a ton. He's not getting a lot of targets. They're really just funneling to the wide receivers and maybe Henderson out of the backfield a little bit. I don't think I could pay the Tyler Higbee price. I could definitely play the George Kittle price. That's no problem. But the Tyler Higbee price, based off current usage, is probably, I don't know, $1,500 too much in my opinion. The Gerald Everett is okay, but there's not a lot. Like, he's going to need the touchdown at 4,600. On his 50% of snaps and running 10 routes, maybe he catches a touchdown on one of those. Slim pickings, right? I think I'd rather shot take on the running backs like you're doing. I think that makes a little bit more sense. What's your overall strategy on the Rams tight ends tonight?
Yeah, they're pretty much a fade for me. I'd much rather take enough shots on the running backs to make sure that if I get the running back right, then I have the right combination around them. So I'm pretty spread out among the three running backs, and that means I'm mostly fading the tight ends.
Yeah, we saw San Francisco just get obliterated on the outside too, and that's not like the Tyler Higbee or Gerald Everett sort of strong suit. So I think I would lean much more. I like the Robert Woods matchup very much tonight. I think he can pretty much do whatever he wants. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really see a lot of use for the Rams tight ends. I would legit almost put Cam Akers or Jarrett McKinnon very close to this production at $4,000 less. Yep. No problem leaving that. If that's the last dude on your lineup, I have no problem saving that and going to one of the running backs. I don't mind Higbee. I mean, he's shown he's done it, these massive games every now and then, but I don't know, 20% seems a little bit high in terms of ownership to me.
Yeah, we've seen the Rams lean really run heavy this year, trying to figure out this backfield. I don't know if that's by design or if they're just
Jared Goff ain't great.
I think that's the right answer. So yeah, I'm on the running game. I'm on wide receivers and the captain to get ahead, and then I like the running game to kind of run down the clock.
All right, we're gonna flip over to FanDuel. I know a lot of people play FanDuel. I prefer the DraftKings format. It's a little bit more strategery with the captain spot and the salary having an effect on everything. You can really narrow down your captains on FanDuel, in my opinion. Usually it's anywhere from maybe 2 to 4 max for the MVP spot over there. What are you doing on FanDuel tonight in terms of that MVP spot?
Yeah, so you have to consider the quarterbacks much more with FanDuel's format. So it's Goff and Garoppolo. I know people have hesitation on Garoppolo because he hasn't been healthy. If that holds down his ownership a little bit, maybe he ends up getting there, even if they fall behind. Then I think it's Kittle would be my top option next, and then Kupp and Woods right behind him. So I think those 5 are what I would limit my pool to.
You can always Mostert, right? Who's just, groundbreaking big performances. And the Rams defense is a pretty reasonable run funnel right now too. You can't really pass on them at the moment, but Ayuk and Debo and Kittle, these guys could just create their own stuff, and you don't really have to rely so much on the quarterback. But I would have absolutely no problem if you put Mostert into that. I don't know if I would go. I'd basically stick to the top 4: Goff, Garoppolo, Kittle, Mostert. Probably wouldn't dabble. Maybe you can convince me in a 1 out of 15 lineups putting one of the Rams wide receivers in there. But if one of those guys has the huge game, Goff's probably going to have a better game and be the better choice for your MVP spot. And then everything else is just a complete dice roll. I'll let the random fish out there play Brandon Ayuk MVP spots on FanDuel because, hey, if it gets there, great, but I'm going to let them waste 2% of the lineups and stuff like that on it tonight.
Yeah, I mean, for a receiver to get there, you basically need all of the touchdowns to go to him.
Rod's got a good point. Those Cup and Woods jet sweeps, man, they run a lot of those every single week. So you can, those guys have a little bit of rushing upside for the touchdown, but I guess that does hurt Goff because they run those, right? When they're on it's first and goal from the 9, they run the Woods, jet sweep. That's like a staple in their goal line offense. So yeah, keep that in mind. What else? Any other specific correlations or rules you're really looking at tonight? If you put, Goff at MVP, let's throw him on FanDuel, right? You're playing one, if not two of Woods and Cup, right? Or are we just playing one of those? How are you handling your Goff lineups over there?
Depends on the pricings. I'm not playing on FanDuel tonight just because I didn't have enough time with the show. So I haven't dug into how the structure works enough yet. I see the running backs are priced up, so I think it does make sense to play two pass catchers if you're playing Goff in the MVP.
Yeah, if I have money, I got 9,000. There's a couple guys, right? You've got your Kendrick Bournes, you've got your. You don't have the ultra cheap running backs or anything like that on FanDuel, so you got to play a guy like Bourne and Josh Reynolds, or maybe mix in one of the kickers to sort of round out your FanDuel lineup in this particular case. I think you can play. I mean, I can make Debo work with Cup, and then I've got 8,000. Right, you can play like a Bourne or a Josh Reynolds. I think there's. I mean, I'm just piecemealing a lineup together on Lineup HQ Live. You can't see it, but. All the viewers can. So like Goff, Cup, with Mostert, Samuel, and then you got Reynolds to basically round it out with Goff at the MVP. I think you can make that pretty easily work over there today. Let's see. Eric wants to know Rams -3. Yes, that is me. I want Rams -3. I think that is. I don't know if I'm a sharp sports bettor, but if I was, I would consider that to be the sharp side tonight. Although, you never know, right? You're at, it's a division game. The 49ers are at home. Anything can happen. But I'm concerned Garoppolo might not be 100%. I'm concerned that 49ers defense just got absolutely torched by Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Dolphins. And if they can have, I think the Dolphins and Ryan Fitzpatrick are pretty good. But do you think Sean McVay is not going to roll into here with Jared Goff being able to pick apart this defense? I think that can happen pretty easily today. So I like the Rams. 49ers just really banged up. That's my preferred side tonight, Keith.
Yep, I'm on the Rams as well. I totally agree, and I'm comfortable laying the 3.
All right, so I've got the expert survey pulled up. This is a part of Rotogrinders Premium. Again, if you guys don't have Rotogrinders Premium and you've never had it, I have put it in the chat. If you want to get $5 off your first month of Rotogrinders Premium, you can either click that link or go to rotogrinders.com/media/SNF. Saves you $5, right? Hey, dude, that's a $5 meal at Taco Bell or something like that for me. So I always like that. I like to eat with my savings of my $5, but you can do whatever you want with it. But you did the expert survey. What do you think? What's your hottest take you put in this thing today?
I believe I put McKinnon down as my honest take. I really, if I like the Rams to win and win pretty comfortably by a touchdown or more, I really think that McKinnon gets involved in their comeback mode. So the way I see that is Garoppolo kind of struggles to get going to his receivers in the first half. The Rams get out to a lead. So in the second half, they try a few more dump passes and screens and things like that. And McKinnon really gets there in comeback mode.
I like everybody's hottest take. I think Squirrel Patrol put the Rams win, but Mostert has 100 yards. I think that makes sense. Goff, 350 plus yards and 4 touchdowns. I like that. That's my Rams. My Rams. Yeah, them going off for a big game. I like yours, McKinnon. 100 scrimmage yards. I think you're stretching it a little there, but hey, you're supposed to have a hot take there. I like that one. Cup 12 passes for 150 yards. It seems like a lot of these Rams offense just has a really big game. I'm on board with those. So I like a lot of those hot takes. My mic is giving me some troubles here. But yeah, if you guys want to ever get access to this sort of stuff, or Gridiron IQ, right, to see the snap percentages, to see routes run and all that other type of stuff, you can click that link to become a Rotogrinders premium member and save yourself $5. Let's see here. Again, guys, if you have any questions at all, right, if you want to talk about lineup construction, if you want to talk sports bets, if you got a prop bet you're looking to hit on the DK or FanDuel Sportsbook or something like that, shoot it into the YouTube chat. Keith and I will interact with you. We will try to give our best opinion on whatever question you can come up in this game, whether it is Showdown related. I always like sports betting. I don't have it here in New York State. I got to drive the 10 minutes to the sports book, but it's been a good year at the sports book for me so far. So I like talking that angle if any of you guys want to do that. What else? What else you want to talk about this game, Keith? You got a particular, like, the players to talk at? Like, there's no, like, Hail Mary guy who, like, Kyle, are you playing Kyle Juszczyk tonight?
No, that
he's
type
like
of stuff
he's like the
isn't
one
really
random
me.
dude that can just come in and get a touchdown.
Yeah, right. No, when I play, I generally just try to find the right combination of players that's going to get me to the optimal lineup, and I don't have enough lineups to try to make Kyle Juszczyk fit in that combination.
Yeah, so I don't think I would do something like that tonight. I got a couple of questions. Don't just wait for me to ask for them, guys. Keep them coming for the rest of the show. We got, I don't know, 10, 15 more minutes left here, and then we'll get on out of here to finish our lineups up. But Todd Damien, he wanted to know, leaving cash on the table tonight? In Showdown, literally, I think you can leave. There's no set amount of money you have to spend on a Showdown lineup. Now, generally, right, the good players, you spend a lot of salary. But the problem with Showdown, right, if you're spending all your salary on a lineup, one, you're almost guaranteed to be duplicated. And then two, you're not just duplicated once or twice. It could be like 100 or 200 times. And, sure, you're going to win, but you're splitting it with everybody else here. So do you have a general rule? When I play Showdown, whatever, anything goes. There's no set salary I try to spend.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. I'm comfortable leaving tons of money on the table. Perfect example tonight would be Darrell Henderson is running the ball early and often. They're trying to get him going. He ends up with 12 carries for 40 yards. And then in the third quarter, Cam Akers comes in, he handles the ball 4 or 5 times and runs in a touchdown, and all of a sudden he's ahead of Henderson, who is 5,000-6,000 more.
Yep. Yeah. So
it takes one play.
Agree completely on that one. Neil Patel, he wanted to know, if we're making one lineup, who is your best captain option on DraftKings?
Cooper Kupp for me tonight.
Let me take one final look here. Kupp's 13.5. I like Kupp. I think I could play Goff, but those lineups get very popular, and he's so expensive. A lot of those lineups start looking the same. I do like Robert Woods quite a bit too, so I'm very much on the Rams side in this game. So
I think it's Kupp or Woods is the definite answer.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking at tonight. Let's see, Deebo Samuel to score. I don't know if that's on the sports book. Hey James, if you're out there, I mean, I like Deebo. He went back to basically playing every snap last week, and he's a really good player. I like him to score in any given game. If you give me the odds on that, I mean, I like Deebo to score tonight, especially if they're playing catch-up or something like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. You on board, Keith?
Yep, I'm on board with that.
Let's see. What's the most sure bet lineup tonight for FanDuel? We can't give you the lineup. Can't do that. Who? Give me if you had to play your 3 best plays on FanDuel tonight, who are they?
Goff, Kittle, and Garoppolo, depending on how much money that leaves you.
Mm-hmm. Everett or Higbee? It really depends on sale.
Yeah, exactly. Price considered. Depends on what else you get in the lineup by going down to Everett. I think Higbee gets more opportunity, but if the price savings to Everett,
the Rams want to run, and they need these guys to block, and that's how they're using the tight ends this year. I would have very little tight end exposure on the Rams side tonight. I think the other skill position players are better allocated for tonight's particular slate.
Yeah.
Jason wants to know, I don't know if he wants to give us like the whole line. Cash game favorites for captain. I'm going to click. I clicked the Blitz. The Blitz likes Jared Goff in the captain tonight for a cash game. Would you agree with that probably? I think I can get behind that take.
Yeah.
A tournament, I think I would go a little bit higher upside with one of the wide receivers, though.
Yeah, so I just ran 150 optimal lineups, and the top three are Kittle, Woods, and Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So Goff is the top, but it looks like it does like Kittle, Woods, and Cup plenty as well.
All right, Kyle's going to test your hot take. Thoughts on McKinnon as captain? I don't think I can do that tonight.
I mean, 5%, sure, but it's not going to be a primary play for me. I like the price savings and the flex and his opportunities late in the game. That's why I'm playing McKinnon. Right. I don't expect him to get 100 yards.
All right, RGV Tech. This doing this is a very unique lineup. Would it be wise to leave both quarterbacks out of a lineup and roll with the wide receivers and running backs? And I guess today I think there's a way where it comes through because someone else in the show mentioned it, right? You get the Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods jet sweeps. You get the Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle jet sweeps. These teams do a lot of that. There's ways a passing touchdown doesn't get scored tonight, right? Like it's like 1% chance, but the teams they do weird things like that in the red zone where the receivers and the tight ends can score touchdowns without physically catching the ball. I don't think I could make too many lineups without a quarterback tonight, but there's like some weird way that it does work. I understand where the question's coming from.
I do too with these two teams in particular because they both spread the ball around quite a bit. So I think you can fade one passing TD and you're okay. If there's two passing TDs, you're going to have that quarterback. But yeah, if you get something like an Akers TD, a McKinnon TD, and a Mostert TD, and then a pass to Kittle or something like that, I could see how neither of the quarters.
I don't think I would have a single lineup without a quarterback. I think they're just so likely to be the highest point scorer overall. But like I said,
I do not have any lineups without a quarterback.
Yeah,
I do see the angle.
I don't think I could do it though. I think I would have a quarterback in all my lineups. RGB Tech. Brady wants to know, is Mostert a must-have in a FanDuel lineup? I would probably tend to agree, yes. But I mean, you only have 5, right? You play him and Kittle, Goff and Garoppolo. There's some good plays, but I would probably roll with the running back I'm very close to certain is going to end up with the most touches in this game.
Yeah, he's most likely to be optimal, but there's certainly a scenario where there's three receiving touchdowns and Mostert doesn't get more than 80 yards, and if he doesn't score, then he's probably not optimal.
Let's see. Let me I will say currently he's not in the blitz optimal. Oh. Hey, don't want to leave it up there for too long, but it's not currently in there. I do like Mostert. I think the Rams defense, right? If you go to Gridiron IQ, this is how it's so easy to see this stuff when you have Rotogrinders Premium. Yeah, you go to their passing, and it's a wall of red outside of a bunch of stats that don't really mean anything. So all the stats that mean something, it's all red, and red is always bad for the offense. Where if you go to the rush side on Gridiron IQ, the green, look at all the green coming through. There's a lot more green. So I do like Mostert. I think the Rams defense, and you think about it, right? You've got to not only stop Aaron Donald, but then you've got Jalen Ramsey shutting down a particular player or a full side of the field sometimes. It makes sense why the Rams pass defense is very tough right now.
Through 5 weeks of NFL, defensive stats can certainly be very noisy. But when you're looking at this Rams defense, and the best way to stop the pass is to get pressure on the quarterback and cover in the secondary. The Rams have 2 of the very best in the NFL at doing that. So their pass defensive grade through 5 weeks is absolutely real.
Yeah, I think it makes a ton of sense to have Mostert tonight, but at least according to the Blitz optimal, he's currently not in there. I don't know. I might hit the override button on that one personally tonight. Let's see. It looks like the questions. There's a ton of you guys in here. If you got any more final questions for the next 5 to 10 minutes, Keith and I will ask them. Is there any particular portion of this game, a player, a take, a bet, anything you got out there, Keith, that we haven't talked about?
I think we covered it.
Anything when you wrote anything in your survey today, right? I'm scrolling through it here. Is there anything you wrote down? You're like, I know you believe everything, but like, I really believe this is going to happen tonight.
Let me revisit here real quick. So I mean, certainly the McKinnon thing, if the 49ers go ahead, I don't like McKinnon near as much. I don't have a strong take on Kupp over Woods. I do like Kupp, but it's a slight lean. My strongest take, I think, is Rams to win. Rams -3.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. How Tippy wants to know the total score. So what did you have in here? I think you were pretty close to Vegas. I think you had 27-23 in here.
Yeah, but I do like the under.
Yep. Just squeaking in by the point, right? Real strong take there. Going on the under there. Yeah, I worry about the San Francisco offense. I think a little bit now. Garoppolo has these really random games where everyone goes ballistic and they score a bunch of points, but I don't know. I'm a little worried about them tonight.
Yeah, and we've seen Goff struggle too, so I that's kind of the route I could see to the under being.
Everyone's on the under here. If you're looking at the final score of the game, every expert on the expert survey is at 50 or under. So if everyone's right, it looks like the under might be the strong bet there. Chance of a Rams defensive touchdown. I don't know.
I mean, I think they're playing the Garoppolo angle there.
Yeah.
I don't see it as any higher of a chance than a typical game.
Yeah. Jason wanted to know, I was looking for Slate IQ just like you. I wanted to read through it. I don't see it. I don't do Slate IQ. I like looking at it when it's there. Unfortunately, I could not find it. So I don't know, Jason. I apologize for it not being there. Let's see. A couple other questions. This is from Pete. He wants to know if the Rams go way up, does Malcolm Brown have upside? Right? Because I like the Rams to win this game, and I think they could legitimately win by like 7 or 14 or things like that. And it's not really even a competitive game. Like, who gets those Rams fourth quarter were up 30-14 touches?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's a top. Any one of them can get it, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. Upside is not the word I would use. I guess he has 2 touchdown upside, but that's a stretch. Does he have a strong possibility of paying off a 1.6K price tag? Yes. And that's why I'm playing a bunch of them.
All right. Abraham Levy, you want to know any contrarians in this game? What's a contrarian showdown play for you tonight? You got McKinnon.
Brown and Cannon. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 3 cheap running backs are all under-owned in my opinion.
Yeah, I think McKinnon and then Akers and Malcolm Brown for their price. Yep. I won't always agree with Keith, but I feel pretty strong on the take that the cheap running backs. And again, if you're in this final spot and you have like 6,000 and you're like Higbee, I would legitimately play a McKinnon. I would play a Brown. I would play a Cam Akers and try to get what I feel is like a little bit more upside, because outside of the one giant game, the Rams tight ends are just, they're pass blocking a little bit too much, not running as many routes, not getting targeted, and anything can change in a one-game sample. But at some point, we have to understand, we're going to be 6 weeks into the season. We have to now start looking at what teams are doing and really looking at that more than whatever we thought about a team or a player moving into the season. And that's the current trend with the Rams. So I like that one. Let's see. Rams all day. Love Rams -3. There's a lot of Rams love. So if the Rams win, the Rotogrinders crew is going to have a good game today.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned that the ownership might be low on these Rams running back. It seems like everybody's seeing the same thing, is that there's more potential at this price tag.
Deebo Samuel was like 40% owned at $200. Keith, don't overthink things. this was last week's Showdown.
I had 100% that day, by the way.
Yeah, and it didn't end up working, but it
did not work.
It was $200, and like people, I don't know. You don't have to overthink things sometimes. All right, I think we're going to call this show here. We're about 45 minutes into it. I want to thank everybody for watching. Again, if you like being able to read the little breakdown for Sunday Night Football, we do a lot of these for pretty much all of the Showdown shows where there's the expert surveys. I'm sure there'll be some up for tomorrow nights as well. If you want access to those, if you want Gridiron IQ, if you want to hang out with Blender. Did Blender win the 50K in the slant?
I was just checking that.
I'm sure he used the Rotogrinders lineup builder to do that. He is a company man on that. He works behind the scenes with sometimes me and a lot of the technical people to help get the things that make lineups good to, correlate and all that type of stuff in there. So congrats to Blender. It looks like he took down the slant for 50K. I don't know if he would have won the Millionaire Maker if he put it in. I got to go check on that. But nonetheless,
check that for him.
hat tip to Blender on the slant. And I think we're going to get out of here, Keith. So thanks to everybody for watching. I'm Britt. He's Keith. And we out ya.